Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you who joined us from across the globe. Somebody wise once said that a candle, when it lights another candle, does not lose its light. Instead, it illuminates and radiates and creates enhanced radiance in the world. Similarly, wisdom, when shared, multiplies and it empowers and enriches us to greater heights. On the same lines, this webinar series has been started last month as part of the Jntuh Alumni Association, and we are here on the second iteration. Just to remind everyone, last iteration, our theme and topic was about the digital age that we live in and the value and the effect of entrepreneurship and the convergence of emerging technologies. The theme today is, again, going deeper into our future in terms of our career. Entrepreneurship is a thing that a lot of us are interested in. But for those of us who are interested in our career building, there's a second segment today where we'll cover how our professional networks and our social networks can help us. And to share their wisdom, today we have Miss Mariette Ram from France and Dr. Prasad Balkundi from Buffalo University, who's going to be presenting their pearls of wisdom on these topics. We'll also have our rector, Professor Govardhan Garu, who will also provide a message of how closely we are collaborating back with the Jntuh University and enriching our alumni activities. And we'll have a segment towards the end where we will interact with the alumni. So without further ado, I'll hand off to our president of Jntuh Alumni Association, Swami Sri Peramadu. Please take it away.
Thank you, Praveen. Good morning to all my fellow Jntuh alumni in USA, and good evening to all my friends joining from India and other parts of the world. A very happy and prosperous New Year 2021 to you all. And I'm sure we all are very happy for the disappearance of 2020, which has made a huge impact personally and professionally on all of us. However, the positive side of COVID-19 is brought all the stakeholders, professors, teachers, and students in the universities, colleges, employees, customers, partners, and vendors together and improved the bonding and forced everyone to innovate for greater good, to improve the industries where we work and the communities where we live. And do you all know one of the all-time greatest accomplishment in this COVID-19 era? Can anybody guess? Yes, it is the official formation of Jntuh-Aa-Usa Alumni Chapter. And probably it meant to happen only in this time. You know why? Because we could reach out to everyone, whoever we want to, as everyone is working from home. And thanks to Pfizer and Moderna for getting vaccines for COVID-19, for making this 2021 a very special year for all of us to celebrate. However, as we all know, it takes at least 3 to 4 months till the vaccine reaches to the common man. But the news about the availability of vaccine gave a good relief to all of us. Since the inception of our USA Alumni Chapter in November 2020, we have been doing this monthly webinar with special guests on second Saturday of every month. And today is the first webinar series in the year 2021. And guess what? Today is also Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is a day celebrated to strengthen the engagement of all the overseas Indian community, to reconnect them with their roots, which is exactly the mission of our Jntuh Alumni Association, where we as Alumni Association want to connect with 1.8 million alumni spread across the globe and reconnect them with Jntuh to give back to our beloved Jntuh University for giving the right foundation to transform ourselves into where we are today. We do not have any clue that today is the Pravas Bharatiya Divas when we plan this event. But as we all know, when we move forward with good intentions, then stars will line up to make all of us fly. This year's theme proposed by Government of India for Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is very apt to our today's theme as well, guide to entrepreneurship and career growth, because all Atmanirbhar is self-sustained, and that is what we want all our alumni and the current students to self-sustain. And these wonderful speakers are going to give all those techniques. As a president of Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar USA chapter, it is an honor and privilege to welcome our today's chief guest, Ms. Marriott Ram, a best-selling author on Amazon, entrepreneur, and the founder and editor-in-chief of Billionaire Chronicle. She is going to give a winning formula to budding entrepreneurs. And you will also know more about Billionaire Chronicle, where we wish all our alma mater should be part of this billionaire list to give back to the community. I also welcome our valedictory keynote speaker, Mr. Prasad Balkundi, who is my good friend and college batchmate. And a warm welcome to our guest of honors, Professor Govardhan, Rector of Jntuh, Dr. Hari Apnapalli, Chairman of Jntuh Alumni Association, principals, and the directors of Jntuh academic institutions and affiliated colleges, staff, Jntuh Alumni Association office bearers from India and US, and all other distinguished guests, media, and dear Jntuh global alumni. I would like to give a brief highlights on what is going on with Alumni Association since its inception. We did share our common goals to all our members, which are updated on our website, www.jntuh.org. And I request everyone to visit and get the latest updates from it, as even today's program is also live and it is available on our jntuh.org. However, some of the key goals I would like to just reiterate for everybody's understanding. Promote exchange programs for students, scientists, and distinguished scholars of Jntuh between the United States of America and India, as well as other countries. Organize periodic Jntuh alumni educational and professional webinars and conferences such as this. And thanks to our communication director, Praveen Nidamolu, for organizing these events with meticulous planning. As you can see, a great speakers and a great alumni joining hands with us. And to provide support and guidance to elevate the brand image of Jntuh and to raise endowment fund. Provide common services to Jntuh alumni to achieve their professional and personal goals, because as an alumni, we want all of us to help each other and see how we can grow together. And once we grow together, how can we give back together to the community? Provide access to capital to foster research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. That's why we have the beautiful lady of our chief guest going to be giving on the entrepreneurship. And I also would like to share one of the quick and positive accomplishment from the last webinar, which is we did get to hear from few of Jntuh alumni who came forward and volunteered to lead the following initiatives to reach our objectives and goals. Dr. Shankar and Dr. Fani from Texas will be spearheading the Research and Innovation Committee from Jntuh Alumni Association US chapter to help current students at Jntuh and alumni to inspire and innovate. As you know, the 2020 is all about unprecedented time, and the 2021 is all about instilling the positiveness, inspiring others, innovate. If you're not innovating, it is going to die, right? So we need to innovate. And Mr. Vishwanath from New Jersey, who will be working with J-Hub at Jntuh and help them to do some projects in electronics and other areas of interest. Mr. Srinivas from Texas chapter will be spearheading the training division, where he is coming with a plan to collate all the training material for the real world business problems. So it is going to be almost a Google of Jntuh. All the current students, alumni, professors, everybody can come and look at this, how many defined resources are available for you. So you don't need to do the Googling. You just come to our website. You should have all the information. And Ms. Sita Garikapati from New York will be spearheading the JNTH alumni conferences and cultural programs. We are going to do a lot of cultural programs in the year 2021 with some themes and also helping and giving back to the community. And of course, we need to have some fun. As an alumni, we need to spread and join hands together to do something better. And Mr. Kumar Rani is spearheading the membership drive. As I told you, we have 1.8 million alumni spread across the globe. He is forming a team to invite all the people and join. So it is a tremendous effort Kumar Ranigar is putting, and we have already started a few hundreds of people joined last couple of weeks, thanks to Kumar Ranigaru. And many others have joined to help each of these committees. And we do have plan for many other committees and initiatives. However, we need more number of volunteers from diverse background, like different batches, branches, need more women volunteers to balance the ecosystem. I hope you all agree with me. So I request all JNTH alumni to reach out to any of these folks and join the respective committee or lead new committee of your choice to drive these objectives to give back to the JNTH. As we all know, we have around 1.8 million alumni of JNTH since its inception, and our goal for 2021 is to at least bring 10% of the community together. And the first step for that is to become a member, right? You need to become a member, you need to be part of the network, you need to be part of the platform so that you can see what is all going on, and then you can go back to your own silos and then talk to your members and bring them. So take an active role as a volunteer and work towards the common goal. And for a detailed list of goals and other important information about various teams and activities, please go to www.jntuh.org. So that is a mantra. Thanks to our chairman Harigaru for identifying, because it is very difficult to get jntuh.org, but we got it. So it's easy to remember. The university, wherever you have gone, that's the same name we got it for our alumni. So please remember and go there. So this reminds me one of my favorite quote from my mentor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We will be remembered only if we give to our younger generation a prosperous and safe India, resulting out of economic prosperity coupled with civilizational heritage. So please remember this and join hands and be part of the alumni. So friends, it is up to you. How would you like to write your new chapter in your life with Jntuh Alumni Association? I once again welcome you all for the great kickoff in celebrating year 2021. As I said, be positive, inspire, and innovate. Thank you. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you so much, Swami, for the wonderful, energetic, and awe-inspiring opening, welcoming everybody in this new year. And thank you also for outlining all the committee members who've come together and volunteering their precious time to uplift and enrich our alumni activities, and also outlining the majority of activities where we need additional volunteers. Now, we request our very inspirational and visionary chairman of Global Alumni Association to give his message to all of us. Dr. Hari Ipanapalli.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Praveen, and thank you, Swami. Happy New Year to all of you. It's wonderful to see you. I know, as Swami said, we left the 2020 behind. It was in the history, very, very, very bad memory. But again, we got connected, and the technology connected us, no matter where the distance among ourselves has reduced to zero almost due to technology's availability, and we are able to connect. Again, thank you, Marriott, for joining us today as a chief guest and delivering the keynote address, and also Professor Prasad Balkundi for joining us. Wonderful to see you all, and thanks to all the committee chairs of JNTU Alumni Association, as well as our alumni and students who joined us today. Professor Govardhan, rector of the JNTU University, also joined us today. Welcome, all of you. Again, wonderful, very inspiring message from our founding president, Swami, who is leading us into a great new year, as well as bringing all the community of the JNTU together, not just in the US, but globally, by providing this opportunity to join us through webinars hosted by our communications director, Praveen. Again, friends, I just want to take only a few minutes. Genetically, we are all identical as human beings. I just since our good friend Swami started, our beloved former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, it just reminds me of how he started his journey so that we all get inspired. He was born into a small fisherman village called Rameshwaram in South India and started his career as a paper boy in the very young age, and then became an aeronautical engineer, a rocket scientist, a missile scientist, and became the Bharat Ratna of India. And later he became the president of India. So every one of you are unique, but world around you is doing its best to make you just one among them. The challenge is you have to fight the hardest battle, which any human being can ever imagine to fight, and never stop fighting until you achieve your dream in life and arrive at your destined place. That is unique you. Dr. Kalam said, always dream big and aim high in life, acquire knowledge, work hard towards achieving your dreams, even in the times of difficulty, and then finally learn to manage failures and success in life. You are born on this planet as a human being for a purpose. So I'm echoing the great American president, John F. Kennedy's words to his fellow Americans during his inauguration. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. A call to action for the public to do what is right for the greater good. This calls for a great deal of introspection, pricks one's conscience to think to convert every adversity into an opportunity. That is exactly what we are doing because of the COVID. Let's give back to our communities and collectively transform this world. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in this world. Do every possible action to preserve and protect this planet for future generations as well. So there's one more thing I would like to share with you, a very favorite poem of my mentor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, where there is a righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Today, because of the COVID, all the students around the world, due to restricted mobility, they are not able to pursue their passion. And online and blended learning is the only way moving forward. And JNTU as a university is looking into exploring all possibilities. That is the intent of bringing all these renowned speakers to provide their insights into how do we reinvent ourselves in this COVID era, because if not COVID, something else may come. So let's take advantage of the technology and also make sure that all the possibilities are explored with collaboration, without competing each other, but collaborate and make sure that we bring the best out of everybody, including our alumni, the students, and all other people who are passionate about giving back to the community. That is the intent of connecting all of you through these webinars. As Swami mentioned, we have 9 different objectives that we want to accomplish, but we need all the alumni to come together. So far, I was told by the university administration, we have 8 constituent colleges, over 250 affiliated colleges. Since the inception of the university, close to 2 million students graduated with JNTU degrees, and they are all over the world. And our intent through this JNTU Alumni Association is to bring them together into one umbrella. Each one of us are highly accomplished, but we are operating as a single thread. If we could collect all these threads together and we can make a strong body of a rope that we could withstand ourselves, as well as pull others also into this so that they can also succeed in their life. So it is our responsibility to give back to our alma mater, as well as to the people who want to succeed in their life because of your experience and entrepreneurship skills. Or we request you to provide your time, talent, and treasure, whatever way possible. Again, it's not mandatory, but you can make a difference by offering those services to our friends who are really want to excel in their life. I think it will make a difference, not just in their lives, but they will radiate, as Praveen was mentioning before. Each one of us are the small little lamp, but collectively we could become a big light to make sure that others also see their path to success. I think with this, I would like to welcome all of you one more time, and let's look forward to hearing from our keynote speakers today and learn from them. And also towards the end of the program, we have a 15 minutes time allocated to interact with the alumni around the world. And we would like to welcome to be part of this great initiative to bring our 2 million alumni together so that collectively we can make a difference. One more thing I would like to mention is the JNTU University was very kind enough to allocate a piece of land of half acre on campus in Hyderabad. And we created a plan for the buildings with 5 floors with a nice mini auditorium whenever we go to university to host any events, and also 1 floor exclusively for the executive suites. We want you to stay on campus and experience what is happening in the university that you studied. That is also in plans, and there are other innovation entrepreneurship blocks that you could set up your own shop there and engage the students as volunteers as well as interns if you can, and promote JNTU as a brand, not just in India but globally. Our ultimate goal is to increase the ranking of the JNTU Hyderabad on par with IITs and IIMs or in international standards. And that's where we are looking forward to working with Professor Prasad Balkundi to guide us. How do we collaborate with other world-renowned universities to bring the research as well as other curriculums or certificate courses that can speed up the employment opportunities with matching skills, what the industry needs for the Industry 4.0 requirements moving forward. I think there's so many opportunities. Each one of you can make a difference by joining this organization. And again, it is free. We are not expecting to charge you anything. We just want your time and talent to start with. And if you are willing to write a check as a treasure contribution to various initiatives that we are in the planning in the near future. So again, I would like to welcome all of you. And if you look at today's numbers, very, very disturbing, about close to 22 million people around the world, in the US actually, and almost 90 million people in the world, with almost 2 million people dead. So in India, it's about 10 million people and 150,000 people. So again, please be careful wherever you are, follow the COVID guidelines and be safe, and make sure that you protect your family, friends, and neighborhoods as well. With this, I would like to thank all our JNTU Executive Council, committee chairs, and alumni, JNTU administration for giving us full support in taking this initiative forward to bring 2 million alumni of JNTU Hyderabad together for a bigger purpose and bigger cause to make a difference, not just for India, but possibly around the world as well. Collectively, we can definitely do that. Thank you again. Look forward to hearing our esteemed speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hari Panapalli, for a very eloquent and very inspiring message, which reminds us of great wisdom from our founding fathers, as well as the path in front of us that we need to tread. Now we move to the segment that I call the monthly dose. Just like we have daily multivitamins for our health, this is our monthly dose of wisdom for our career growth and for professional and personal enrichment. So I welcome Dr. Shankaran who is one of our committee chairs for JNTU alumni as well for innovation, and in many other areas providing great contributions, to introduce our esteemed speaker, Ms. Mariette Ram from France.
Thank you very much, Praveen. Can you all hear me? Very good. I'm profusely honored and privileged to introduce Ms. Mariette Ram. Ms. Ram has impeccable record, as you will see and hear very soon. Ms. Mariette Ram is the founder and editor-in-chief of the Billionaire Club, the impact and contributor and member of the Forbes Business Council. She has received her BSc from Middlesex University. She's also a board member, business strategist, international PR authority, a digital content creator, creator pro, a master storyteller, and a best-selling co-author of Dreams Unleashed. She has single-handedly built a platform of 20,000 HNWIs followers, integrating different facets of PR and marketing strategies, and truly breaks the mold and rewrites the rules of communication and media. After 15 years of experience in public relations, marketing, and branding, she continues her efforts to drive social and core communication in the global entrepreneurial ecosystem. Your records are so impeccable. I would like to hopefully emulate you as I grow up. So this is awesome. Ms. Ram, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be our chief guest and inaugural keynote. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Marriott Ram.
Ms. Marriott Ram, please go ahead and unmute and give us the wonderful speech we are all waiting for.
Yes, I'm on mute finally. Excellent. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, and good afternoon, esteemed President and Chairman, respected alumni members, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute great honor to be here and to address the topic of entrepreneurial career opportunities. If I could possibly have the slideshow, please. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I think there are quite a few pages. If I could have the second page, please, and just going to navigate when to perfect, when to jump on. Oops, stop. So I can actually start. This is perfect. I actually would love to start this session with a story from Gandhi. A monk spent a day at the Sabarmati ashram, and he expressed a wish to stay there. And he said to Gandhi that, well, I really like what you're doing here, and I'd like to stay here. And Gandhiji said to him, well, you're very welcome to stay at the ashram, and because it was really meant for people like yourself, but you have to put your robes away and dress like all the other people. And the monk said, well, I can't do that. I'm a monk. And then Gandhiji said, well, I'm not asking you to renounce who you are, because being a monk is really a state of mind, and how you dress has got nothing to do with it. But if you wear the robes, the monk of a robe, then people will not allow you to do the work because out of respect of your robes. Instead, they will serve you. And this is completely against the principles of this ashram, because we are here to serve, not to be served. And if you could have the next slide, please. Perfect. Now, today there is a genuine compassion and developing entrepreneurship to combat the poverty that so many of us are recognized all over the world. And today, I really would like to lift up the hope that is available for us for a collective action. Now, the world is coming together after an unprecedented circumstance in 2020, and the entrepreneurial community is really stronger now than ever before. Here we are talking about sustainable innovation, about redefined leadership, about thought leadership, and of course profitability. Now, if we look at the number of entrepreneurs around the world, there are about 582 million entrepreneurs altogether, and out of those 255 million women alone, and with countries heading like New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Denmark, and South Korea. And interestingly enough, the regions where there is a big activity from female entrepreneurs, those are the sub-Saharan Africa areas and Latin America. Now, despite controversy, I do believe that entrepreneurial action can alleviate poverty. And to me, entrepreneurship really starts with a person. It's about investing in lives of people, working with those who are trying to better themselves. And entrepreneurship really must be transformed into something that we can put on the table, as in a bread and rice and clean drinking water, and providing better health and education. And I truly believe that the driving force, that entrepreneurship is the driving force in developing and developed countries both. So it cannot be undivided. It's a driving force in both countries, and the opportunities, they need to be provided daily without limits, and really harnessing the resources of this interconnected world that we actually all in. And I see education as a huge part of entrepreneurial success, as in not just giving the fish to the people, but to actually teach them how to fish. I think many people are familiar with this concept, but entrepreneurs are really the ones who are bringing the new seeds and bringing the new technologies. So economy could be bettered. We can fight hunger, we can fight famine, and poverty can be tackled. And investments also into people who are striving to innovate entrepreneurship and endorsing these technologies to overcome problems, to unite industries and communities to change the world is absolutely vital. If I could have the next slide, please, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am, anytime.
So these are the topics that I would love to cover today, and I know that I've only got 25 minutes, and I can assure you that all these topics can be allocated an entire day to discovery. But I'm going to try my absolute best, and I wanted to prepare this PowerPoint for you. So when you look at the end of the day, what was she actually talking about? I really hope that some key points really come forward. So without any postponing, if I could have the next one, please, because the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the role of the entrepreneur is really the purpose of economic policy in general is economic growth, which reflects basically more firms, more companies, job creations, a strong international competitive positioning, and more innovation, which basically all relates to a livelier environment within the community. Now, moreover, the aim of strengthening the capacity for innovation and competitiveness comes from the need for prosperity and really alleviating poverty. And the more prosperous the country, the more productive and innovative companies must become to remain competitive in order to grow the wages and the wealth. And there's a global emphasis on in the importance of innovation and creativity through entrepreneurship. For example, the European Union, it identifies the connection between creativity and the innovation process and entrepreneurial activity as essential instruments for preserving prosperity and finding ways to sustainable society, therefore the welfare. And within this, obviously the entrepreneurs got massive responsibilities. If I could have the next slide, please. These entrepreneurial responsibilities is, an entrepreneur is someone who is with a strategic vision, with an overall vision for the company and an overall vision for the direction of where we are all heading. At the same time, he must cultivate, he must organize and collect a team that is optimized and a team that works together towards this strategic vision. This is a huge responsibility and a vision towards a growth that is also a key word, a growth in terms of entrepreneurship, and spearheading, obviously, the growth. It's key marketing and growth initiatives are absolutely crucial to be in place. And strategic partnerships, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in detail, though I could, again, this could be a whole topic in itself. Strategic partnerships is really about creating alliances with companies and with brands for win-win relationship. And this really entices the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now, more countries are actually evolving towards a more entrepreneurial society. And I see entrepreneurial education is very much in the forefront, as well as entrepreneurial employees, such as entrepreneurs and the aspiring entrepreneurs who are pursuing these entrepreneurial ventures at their own risk, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is something that is a very much of a risk-seeking behavior, so to speak. And it also, I think, when it comes to rewarding creativity, also from an entrepreneurial perspective, it has to be incredibly rewarded. If I could have the next slide, please, Mr. President, because this takes me down to from a responsibility of entrepreneurship to social responsibility. This is what entrepreneurs have got to really stand for. And if you ask the question that what exactly is social responsibility of an entrepreneur to his employees, to the customers, to suppliers, stakeholders, to businessmen, to the government, to their community, what is what's the responsibility here? And if I could sum up that, how business relationships are measured, how these entrepreneurial relationships measured, they are measured by fairness, honesty, and justice. Because at the end of the day, an entrepreneur, whatever service or quality or product they establish, they have to sell it at a fair price. They also must be fair with their suppliers, anyone that they are in contact with in terms of payment. They must be correct in terms of their regulations towards taxation to the government. They have to promote the welfare of the employees as the company is evolving. Respecting the business ethics as far as the business partners are concerned, and also they have the social responsibility in terms of job creation and protecting the environment. And this comes down to, this takes us down to the types of the corporate social responsibility, which is, there are 4 types that we distinguish. Is philanthropy, environment, conservation, diversity and labor practices, and volunteerism. And most companies, and I'm talking about companies, are made out of people. To me, companies are people. These are all entrepreneurs within this, with the same ideas, with the same vision, with the same goal of, this is what we want to do. So these companies realize the importance of CSR to actually to deliver business results. And these companies are normally looking for corporate social responsibilities as a tool to recognize and develop initiatives that align the business purpose and the core values, and also to mitigate risks, because we are talking about entrepreneurship. We are talking about a lot of risks here, but also to promote philanthropy and economic behavior. This is very important. If we jump on to the next slide, please. Now, to realize the growth and the innovation, and here is basically, I've touched on a little bit on the concept of entrepreneurial ecosystem, but what we call an entrepreneurial ecosystem is really an interactive network of all actors who come into play and who influence each other, and really the chances of survival of the venture, the business in the country, in the region. And the ecosystem must function well for entrepreneurs in order to survive, and these must have more than just the competency of a business owner. This must have the formal support organizations, human capital, culture, new knowledge, financing. And really the challenge here is to have all these elements and have them complement each other in a way that they provide more value. So in an essence, this is what denotes a well-functioning entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's incredibly complex, and it's not just data that's working on a macroeconomic level. It also works very much on an individual level. And again, this is a topic in itself that can take absolutely hours. If I could have the next slide, please. So today, staying just on the subject of corporate social responsibility, today's companies operate in a rapidly changing environment, and such a background really forces them constantly to seek new solutions, and these new solutions has to guarantee the gains or maintain their competitive advantage. And corporate social responsibility and innovation emerged as a double concept, probably about 10 years ago or so. Innovation is crucial and inevitable for every entity. There is no question about that. And today, when we look at companies, they seem to favor social responsibility, responsible solutions, because social responsibility in itself positively influences a company's performance by improving its reputation. So it really seems essential for companies to actually simulate this synergy growth between responsibility and innovation. This is also what we call social innovation. And so companies are doing more to tackle on the issues such as social justice, alleviating poverty, climate change. And today, the brands and the companies that have got the future, those are the brands and the companies who see the challenges as opportunities and take these on, as opposed to let's play it safe and let's look at the risks and how to avoid risks. No, it's all about innovation and handling those opportunities with innovation. And if the next slide, I love my stories. And why am I going to tell you the stories? You can first of all listen to the story, and then you can draw your conclusion after that. This is one of my favorite stories that goes back to 2017, and it started from a post from a social media, from a French social media influencer. You may know him from Wine and Snapchat. His name is Jérôme Gérard. I don't know if the name rings any bell at all. But he was on a call with a friend who was actually volunteered in Somalia. And this friend noticed witnessed a young girl, 6 years old young girl, who died from dehydration after miles and miles of walk with her mother in order to search for clean water. And the UN it's called it the worst humanitarian crisis after the Second World War, with millions of people facing starvation and famine, Somalia and in other developing countries as well. And they are just desperate, really desperate for aid. So in this social post, this gentleman, he made a case for social media and involved food companies, water companies, airlines, absolutely everyone under the sun. And he started the Go and Fund campaign. And they found out that there was only one airline that actually operated to Somalia. So the request is to actually to enable immediate relief by this airline to Somalia. And this campaign generated just in one day over $1 million, and influencers, A-list celebrities like Ed Norton and Ben Stiller joined, famous athletes. And so why was I telling you this? And I think you had now plenty of time to actually to read that, because entrepreneurs are responsible for people and the well-being of others. And the most important entrepreneurial tool of social responsibility is communication. If I could have the next slide, please. Entrepreneurship and communication. This is something that I feel very passionate about, and this is something that we have to improve on many levels in order to establish smooth liaison and understanding between business, entrepreneurship, and community. There must be reliable means of communication, and this could be provided by one of the sources. It could be provided by the press, of course, regular and periodic, my tongue was breaking there, representation of facts and figures and statistics through press is a great asset for a business. And it also something that keeps you in the public eye, so to speak. Another form is digital media, social media, and this is a tool that is becoming mandatory for entrepreneurial career success and entrepreneurial success worldwide. And as well as marketing, sales, and advertising, it really gives you the ability to connect directly and avoiding the black holes. And all the digital assets that we call as, for example, your blogs, your podcast, the social networking profiles, it's all creates an online identity, how people see you, how they discover you, and how you can connect with your audience. And you have to have the ability to leverage these assets in order to present a positive image that aligns with your passion. Now, most social media users, unfortunately, they fail to acknowledge that social media, in fact, has got a social, a human element to it, as in social is social. And also, don't forget that while we are in 2021, the days are when you put out a post and you receive hundreds of likes and comments and connections, and that's over. It may have worked 15 years ago, but today we are facing a huge, massive competition. And individuals and businesses use social media really to extend their reach and network, and also without, let me be clear here, that often without considering the long-term consequences of their action. And at core, social media really is about interaction with real people, organic interaction, and being transparent in forums on the platforms that really can show the true identity of the company, of the brand, of what you represent. And so while social media evolution increased connectedness and it does all the things that we need to do, we need to remember that behind every single social page there are people with real emotions, with real passions, with reality of humanity. And if I could have the next slide, please. And I really would like to, going on social media again is a absolute passion of mine, as well as communication, entrepreneurship, and UN principles. But I would like to leave you just a little bit of an action takeaway. So you say that, okay, I can actually take something away from this keynote. If you know me, you know that I'm very active on social media with over 6,000 followers, and my engagement is over 5%, which is, in LinkedIn terms, if you've got 2% of engagement, you are good. So 5% is extremely good. So I have walked the walk. I know exactly what I'm talking about here. And if you could have the next slide, please. What I really would love to ask you is, before doing anything, just really sit down and really take a good look at your life as an entrepreneur, because you can't leverage social media for success unless, thank you, the question. I think we're going to have some question time, Mr. President, after. Yes. You can't leverage social media for success unless you know where you stand right now, today, at this minute. So have a great look at, you know, what your current responsibilities are, and look through these questions and answer them with total honesty, not to anyone else, but only to yourself, because you can only work with your responsibilities, with your resources that you currently have. If you've got a big family, if you have got a job that you have to maintain as well as your entrepreneurial venture, there is no way that you'll be able to sacrifice 16 hours a day non-stop on social media, on networking, and there's just no way. And also you have to consider that what you have right now in terms of professional network on social media or offline as well is because this is all about the interaction. If you think about the different elements of the entrepreneur, everything has to click in. You have to consider basically all the side of the table, and these decisions will really impact of how you will use the tools to communicate. There are tools. I'm sure you have seen the websites, 10 amazing this to use, 20 amazing that to use for your entrepreneurial success. But you really have to know the basics of the how to use use tools, how to use the tools to communicate what you do and how you serve, and how you want to be positioned relatively to anyone else who is out there and doing the same thing in inverted commas that what you're doing, along with your goals and with your mission. The next slide is, thank you. I think you're reading my mind, Mr. President. The personal branding, the second step is you really need to figure out your personal brand before you start building your presence, your profiles on social media. And unfortunately, many entrepreneurs who try to do the same way around, and it doesn't work. So start by assessing what your strengths are and what you are passionate about. Ask your close network really for feedback. And during this time, again, you have to be true to yourself. You have to remain authentic and completely transparent, because what you have right now, this is what you're going to project to your audience, to your company, to your team that you are bringing together. And if something is not clicking into the jigsaw puzzle, so to speak, they're going to see through it. So you have to be absolutely transparent and absolutely authentic with this, deciding on the personal brand statement. Personal brand statement is not just about getting to your target market, as in I want to sell that service to XYZ, the age and gender and location. It's more about getting the prospect to see you as the sole provider of a solution of the problem that they are facing, the problem that they need a solution for. Therefore, in a sense, you could say that branding is really a personal solver, a problem solver. And if I could have the next slide, please. This is what a good branding will do for you. If you've got everything in place, I'll let you read this in your own time. I'm not sure where we are actually heading with time. I'm really trying my best within the time frames. So if I could have, thank you. If I could have the next slide, please, again. So your brand really serves as a guide to understanding the purpose of your key business objectives, and it enables you to align your plan, the plans with those objectives. So your personal statement, it's not a job title. It's not something like a financial analyst, or I'm a CEO of this. It's really about what you do and who you serve and what is the problem that you are solving. And if you've got this, then you select your best possible social media tools for your branding strategy, and you're on the way to an absolute winner. Branding in itself, it really is the most important aspect of marketing strategy. And branding helps to create that really memorable impression on the customer of it helps you bring in more business and retaining this existing customer. It creates an own space, so to speak, to get identified in your niche and really establish you as the number one in your niche as well. And step number 3 is the final is start building your online empire. And you've got the tools, you are prepared, and it's really time to build empire. And this means that you're having to start generating content, written content, audio content, video content. This step really requires you to become a source and a valuable contributor to the community. So we are going back to really to the foundation of why you started this. What are those strategic plans? What are the goals? Put everything together, do the summary, sitting down, be facing yourself in the mirror and being transparent and authentic, and really realizing that I'm actually here with a purpose, not for my own self-entertainment, but for the good of basically delivering within my social responsibility to my community, to my country, and to an ecosystem. And I'm really ready for some questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Harigaru, go ahead.
Yeah. But what I'll do is let get the questions, then I will wrap it up. Please go ahead, Praveen. Yeah.
So we have a few questions. So first of all, that's a great primer for entrepreneurship for anybody who's interested in it. First question comes from Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar. Go ahead, please.
It was a great presentation, Ms. Ram. My question is, we have been through some unprecedented challenges over the last year or more, and things are still not, coming good as we move along. Based on the current situation, my question is, what are the social responsibilities and communication challenges for entrepreneurship that you see? And how can we basically avert or mitigate those issues or risks? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it's a fabulous question, and I have heard this from a lot of entrepreneurs as well. What shall we do? There's a huge, massive challenge, and what I've seen really in the last few months is the entrepreneurs who are actually focusing on the core team and really underlying the values of not just the values, but showing in a way that we care about our inner people. We really care about. This is a time, I think, when digital's transforming in a way where it's becoming more humanized, if I can put it that way. Before COVID, we kind of relied on digital that, okay, that's another connection, but at the end of the day, I can go to that summit and I can meet that person in person, and or we can just have a meeting face to face, have a coffee, have lunch, what have you. Right now, it is not possible. We had to really change the way that digital is working, and really via digital, have to find these ways of communication. And I think in a way of having a more personalized approach, just asking actual employees, business stakeholders, companies in digital, are you actually okay? Are you safe? How are you feeling? And it just brings such an immense connection. It's almost like people seem to think that, oh, we need to have huge, massive channels and communication channels to get our email system and Slack and everything else. But at the end of the day, it's always the simplest works the best. And it's really about just an outreach on WhatsApp, just an outreach on LinkedIn. Are you okay? And then suddenly it's like, oh, the CEO is actually, or the president is asking me that, whether I'm okay. Before COVID, it wasn't right. So I'm actually going to be more of an ambassador to my company. And suddenly this vision that this company cares about people. This company actually cares about that, whether I'm alive or I'm dead. I'm sorry, that was very extreme. And you have the digital channels after your whatever platforms you happen to be on, because these people become your ambassadors. And this is going to go from one person to the one person to the one person. And eventually, when the actual communication channels will open up, as in terms of we can travel, we can have meetings face to face, this will be such a huge impact, because it's not what you do, it's how you make people feel, and they will remember that. Even if it was on a digital digital channel, they will remember that. I don't know if I answered your question.
You did, because in these challenges, I think it is, as you rightly said, it's a personal outreach through the technology, and making sure that your team, especially as you said, the core team and your people, feel that the belongingness and the relationship, that hey, somebody is there who cares for us, which makes them empowered, and even during these difficult times, to be together, and be the ambassadors, as you rightly said. Very well
That's
said.
right.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. The next question is actually more of a request. If you're okay to share this presentation with the team here who have joined.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Great, thank you. The next question comes from Vishwanatham Narahari. Go ahead, please. If you're on mute, sir. We still can't hear you, so let me read the question here for everyone's benefit to move fast. At a very high level, what will be the impact of new development with respect to WhatsApp, sharing its data with Facebook, positives and negatives, because a lot of small businesses are depending on Facebook these days. Any quick thoughts?
I think that I'm the worst. I'm going to be honest and transparent. I'm the worst person to ask about Facebook. And I personally migrated from Facebook probably about 3 years ago. I really started to become more focused on my LinkedIn strategy, simply because I started to work with family offices and ultra high net worth about 5 years ago. And the demographic and the tools and the communication channels, it's more suited that as opposed to the aspirational and the coaching community on Facebook. So I kind of, in a way, lost really touch with that. But when I heard really, I'm actually really looking forward to, and I wish I could have is kind of magic goggles that I can see into the future. Because even then, when I was talking about WhatsApp, Facebook, what's going to happen here, I am actually getting really cold feet. You know, when someone is getting married, I think it's something said about gentlemen really before they get married, that they have cold feet. That's exactly how I feel at the moment. And I'm thinking about maybe looking for some other alternatives. I know there are a lot of people are using Telegram, a lot of people in on various other networks as well, and. I must admit I am publicly admitting that I'm a skeptic when it comes to really Facebook and WhatsApp activities. I really hope that someone will prove me wrong. I really do.
So thanks for your candid answer. So once again, thank you for outlining the strategic social responsibilities and how it's an interesting yet difficult but a very empowering journey of going from self-discovery, self-advocacy, and executing the vision. Now, we don't have any further questions. I would turn it over to Dr. Hari Ipanapalli.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Praveen, for well moderated session. Thank you, Marriott, for joining us today. It's very insightful and sharing experiences firsthand. You experienced them and you're sharing. It's not a theory that you presented us. Again, I would like to thank our good friend, Abraham, who connected us, Marriott. Marriott, this is going to be a very lifelong relationship we will have with you, in taking your guidance and various things that we have in the pipeline, especially on the JNTU side. I would like to mention to all our aspiring entrepreneurs. So the United Nations was started about 75 years ago. They just celebrated their 75th anniversary in October. So, but their goals were 17 of them, and primary focus on health, education, environment, like that. But today we still have lot of hunger and not able to have appropriate healthcare access, no clean drinking water, and improper sanitational conditions, and a lot of issues are still lingering around. And when they started the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, it was projected that we need about $5 to $7 trillion to implement those goals. And as you all know, COVID exhausted all the resources of every nation on the planet, and they will not be able to contribute to the UN. So it is our social responsibility to take up some of these challenges on our own. I request all our aspiring entrepreneurs and also the mentors look into what can we do to keep our people healthy on this planet, keep our people educated on this planet so that they can earn their living respectfully, and how do we preserve and protect this planet for future generations. At least if you could focus on these three areas, how technology and innovation and entrepreneurship can provide at scale some of these solutions to provide affordable quality healthcare, affordable quality education, and preserve and protect this planet for future generations through various initiatives that we can think of. And Marriott is presenting ideas and also the roadmap. How do we do this? And especially in terms of, if you take our Jntuh Alumni Association also, as a corporation, even it's a nonprofit. And some of the strategies she mentioned about strategic vision, building a world-class team, head of growth, and also strategic partnerships. I think that's what we have to do here as an organization, even it's a not-for-profit. We need to run as a corporation and to make sure that we achieve our goals, and our community members are our customers, and what kind of services we can offer to our customers, our alumni, and how do we increase their stickiness? How do we increase their involvement in this corporation, because they are the stakeholders for us. I think Marriott has provided a wonderful insight into how do we build organizations, how do we promote them, how do we brand them using all the social media that we have out there. I think she's a living example in this space, and we really gratefully appreciate Marriott for joining us. Again, our good friend Abraham for connecting Marriott. And this association will go a long way. Anything we as JNTuans can help you in your journey, please let us know. We will be there for you. Thank you so much once again. Praveen, back to you.
Okay, thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Hari, for that
May I?
wonderful recap.
Yeah, please,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Prabir. May I just 1 minute? Just 1 minute. I'm sorry to interject. Mr. Chairman, I'm absolutely honored again for the invitation, and a huge thank you for Dr. Abraham as well. And I'm looking forward to, as you said, a vengeful and insightful long-term relationship. Thank you again.
And also, we would like to see how do we promote the EduCoin concept for social rewards of our Jntuh alumni members. We are about close to 2 million people around the world. We will talk that offline and see how do we bring that into our discussion and see how the alumni can benefit out of it. We'll talk about it separately. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Marriott. I hope I'm able to meet your expectation of moving the slides. So thank you, and we'll have a separate discussion. Thank you so much. Praveen, you can go to the next topic.
Okay, and thank you once again, Ms. Marriott Ram, for a wonderful outlining of entrepreneurship and how we can execute that vision. Next, we'll move to our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Govardhan, who's here. He's been an avid supporter, a very dedicated, committed support from the university to define the vision for us. And he has more than 25 years of teaching and research experience and multiple international and national awards. And a significant one to mention is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's Excellency Award to recognize the valuable research contributions. So I welcome Professor Govardhan Ji to give his message, empowering all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Praveen. All the distinguished dignitaries of the program, the chief guest of today's inaugural program and the inaugural keynote speaker, Professor Marriott Ram, founder, Billionaire Chronicle, Forbes Business Council member from France. A valedictory keynote speaker, Dr. Prasad Balkundi, associate professor professor and chair from State University of New York, Buffalo, New York, USA. My colleague from university, Professor Manjur Hussain, registrar from Jntuh Hyderabad, who could not be here due to some sudden preoccupation. Other distinguished invitees, the pillars of the entire USA Alumni Association, Dr. Hari Eppanpalli, Mr. Swami Sri Perumbudur, Mr. Praveen, Mr. Sudhakar, and Dr. Shankar, Dr. Prasad Balkundi, the other distinguished association bearers from USA, and Mr. Jakar from JNTU Alumni Association from local chapter, Hyderabad, and also Dr. Vijay Mohan, who is the president, also could not be here. Other distinguished alumni members, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening and good afternoon. Namaste to all of you. It's indeed a wonderful occasion. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, in charge Vice Chancellor Sri Jayesh Ranjan IAS, who is also the Principal Secretary of IT, Commerce and Industry, and also the in-charge Vice Chancellor of our Jntuh Hyderabad, conveyed his warm greetings on the occasion of this program and also on the occasion of this Bharat Pravas Divas, on the occasion of this, and also on behalf of our university and on my own behalf, warm greetings to all our NRI, alumni and their families and friends, and near and dear. So it's indeed a wonderful occasion. This is in the series what Alumni Association has been doing. I must compliment my deep sense of accolades to the entire association and also the office bearers. We have been taking a lot of pains to see that they give back to the alma mater in various ways and means possible, and that's how they have been doing wonderful contributions to the university. And as rightly mentioned by the previous speaker, and as we have been discussing about various activities associated with the university, you can see a number of activities that can be associated, particularly in the context of this entrepreneurial ecosystem building in the university. We have We are an affiliating technological university, which was established in 1972, as everybody knows. That time we had only 3 constrained colleges, but now we have grown to the extent of an affiliating university wherein we have 300,000 students on rolls under this university, and that way we have a very huge system, and there is a lot of potential in those lines, and we should see that our students unleash the potential from that perspective. And from that point of view, startup ecosystem we are trying to build in our university. We have certain components which are directly connected to the industry, like university industry interaction cell. We have Jntuh Hyderabad Innovation Hub. We also have started recently Atal Incubation Center. We are also planning to have the co-working space in the university, like Technology Business Incubation Center. And all these things will definitely help our budding engineers not only to seek their jobs, but also to provide the jobs with the entrepreneurial skill set that can be done by our alumni association and also various experts who can really contribute in different ways. So as university, we always welcome the activities that are being taken up by the alumni association. You can develop your ideas or inventions or any research findings, and we can collaborate with that. And the startup ecosystem is also being in the process of building by the university. And we need startup team members. We need angel investors. We also need startup mentors. We need startup advisors. Are people who are experts in the entrepreneurial skill set development among our students. We would be happy to receive all of them, and we would be happy to keep them on our boards, including the advisory boards and mentor boards and the experts. So in a nutshell, we always welcome whoever be the person who comes proactively, or who wants to share their expertise intellectually, or whatever the way and means possible. We would be happy to receive them. So with these few remarks, I once again congratulate all of you for taking up a wonderful initiative to hold this kind of expert lecture series by the alumni. I think this is the first of its kind in the university system. Though we have our counterpart as Osmania University, one of the prestigious universities. Again, I am also the alumnus of Osmania University, but we have some other programs. But in our JNTU, we are doing this first of its kind of this lecture series. Though we have started earlier with tech series in departmental level, but this is under a very big umbrella. We have started all these activities. My deep sense of appreciation and also deep sense of gratitude on behalf of our universities to see that our young budding engineers come up as entrepreneurs locally and globally. And I'm sure the next month again we'll come up with a wonderful topic which can enlighten all our budding engineers. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Govardhan Garu, who's our rector of JNTUH. And like I said, we are very, very privileged and honored to have your key messages here, reiterating our purpose and our journey forward, and looking forward to a great partnership and continuing the relationship we have built over time. And Dr. Mansoor Hussain could not join today, who's our registrar, but he definitely also encourages us to greater heights. We'll move on to the next segment now, which is the valedictory keynote. And we'll have Dr. Prasad Balkundi, who will be presenting. And to introduce him, we'll have Jntuh-Aa-Usa-Webinar. Please take it away.
Srinivas, please unmute.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Praveen. Happy New Year to all of you. It's a great honor, privilege, and opportunity for me to introduce our valedictory keynote speaker today, who is also our privileged alumni, Dr. Prasad Balkundi. Dr. Prasad Balkundi received his BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from JNTU Hyderabad and his MBA from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar. and PhD in business administration from Pennsylvania State University in the area of organization behavior. He is currently working as an associate professor and chair of organizations and human resources at the University at Buffalo, State University of New York. He is a visiting professor at Indian School of Business for their flagship PGP program in Hyderabad and Mohali, and in their executive MBA programs. He has numerous refereed journal articles, book chapters, and conference publications. He has presented at many national and international conferences and received multiple academic honors. It's again a great privilege to welcome Professor Prasad Balakundi to give his valedictory keynote address this afternoon. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Can you folks hear me?
Yeah, Prasad.
Great, thank you, thank you. It indeed is an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you. Let me just, in the interest of time, I'm just going to jump directly into my presentation today. So my goal here is really simple. When we think about social networks, and I know Marriott really touched on, from an entrepreneurship perspective, the role of our social support, our networks. She's absolutely right, because our success is not just in the hands of us as individuals, but it really is contingent on our social connections that we have. And one of the things we do realize is that our social ties, our social connections, not only give us information, but they actually share the way we think of the world. And what I'm going to introduce you today in the brief 20 minutes that we're going to be together is not even the tip of the iceberg. There actually is a lot of research in this topic. And yes, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these social media are our view of networks today. But what I'm going to be talking to you about is something deeper. And that is the essence of being human. And that is essence of being human and interacting with others, trusting others. And there's a huge body of literature on this, research on this. So let me start off with a simple thing from an organizational standpoint. Why do networks matter? Okay, first one, did any of you in my group today here get a job through your networks? You can type in the chat function or raise, yeah? Swami, you got the job through your networks? Same Praveen, yeah? Absolutely. Now, remember the time when we used to have newspaper ads and people used to get jobs through that? That still is there, whether it is through Indeed or Monster or LinkedIn, but a major chunk of our jobs we tend to get are through our social relationships. What about the help that we got through our networks, right? Not just job related. It could be information. It could be about some idea. Those of us who are in the area of stocks, which stock to pick, right? Even the decision, which program to join, why Jntuh, why not Usmania, right? Once in Jntuh, why EEE versus mechanical or metallurgy? So those are some of the things that our networks help us make, help us decide. So when we think about it in the organizational context, we can think about work-related help, right? So information that helps us make decisions. Alternatively, we can also think about social support. And Marriott, when she was talking about the role of entrepreneurship is really a rough ride in many ways. There's a reason why a majority of startups actually fail. In fact, the literature on Silicon Valley basically shows that for startup entrepreneurs, it is actually their fourth startup that succeeds, right? So if one has to go through this cycle, then what are the support systems that we need to have in place? And that's where our social relationships come into play. Now, when we actually look at the literature on this, we come to know that, yes, as Swami pointed out, as Praveen pointed out, that they got their jobs through their networks. But what I'm going to suggest to you is some other dimension that is not just jobs, but also our promotions, are based on our networks. And yes, if your father or your mother knows the CEO or your boss likes you, that is one. But what I'm going to propose is an alternative structure, a different structure that is associated with this. And that structure is also associated with higher satisfaction, meaning if you're surrounded by people you like, your friends, then obviously you're going to enjoy that experience and you're more likely to remain in that organization. So my key point that I want you to take away from this presentation is a concept that you see all around you. And the key concept is Swiggy, Uber, DoorDash, any broker you see. That is the structure I'm going to propose to you. You can do it at the corporate level, but even at the individual level. And I'm going to explain to you how that comes into play. The idea here is that if you sit as a broker between multiple individuals, you get access to unique information, and that leads to creative ideas. The literature is pretty strong on this, that brokers get ahead, they tend to get promoted faster, they tend to be more creative, they tend to have more number of patents. And so that is the key idea I want you to take away. From a network standpoint, if you are, as you are, in the senior years, or even at our stage that we are in, being surrounded by friends and families associated with greater, longer life, and the food patterns of your networks will eventually impact you. So there were several epidemiological studies done over decades, which showed that once your friends started eating those Bengali sweets like cham cham and gulab jamun and rasgulla, then you will start enjoying and eating the same, and that will then impact your weight, right? So the same thing holds true. If your friends start doing some type of intermittent fasting, it will eventually cascade down. So these are social contagion effects that sort of come through us. So here is a typical network diagram. On my left, here is a formal organizational chart that we all can see. But then here on the right is the informal pattern of interaction. And I don't want to dive too much into this, but the key idea is that formal structure and informal structure are not exactly the same. Because in informal structure, our choice comes into play, our personality comes into play. And one of the things that my research and several other academics are finding is that our personality has a huge impact on our networks. And because of that, it determines our performance. So if you're interested in knowing what your personality trait is, that's going to determine whether you succeed or not, email me and I'll give you a link for that. But let's just jump into a small exercise that I've prepared for you. Take out your notebooks, okay? Think you're back in school, all right? Take out your notebooks. Think of 3 of your best friends, okay? And when I mean best friends, these are people you're willing to die for. So Praveen, are you willing to die for me? All right, so, or if you don't want to go that far, people you're willing to share secret information, intimate secrets, okay? Write down their initials, one below the other. Write down their initials, one below the other. Besides their initials, write down their ethnicity. Now, I do know we have a lot of alumni here who are from across the globe. And then besides that, write their gender and age. Is that making sense? Can you please give me a thumbs up if you're following me on this? All right. So I did this exercise, okay? So my first friend, yeah, thank you, Mahesh. So my first friend is SC. He's an Indian, he's male, he's 49, and all my friends are significantly older than me. I confess, I'm much younger than this. I just graduated from Jntuh just a few years ago, right? Now, the other point I want to make, I'm a gentleman. My wife is my best friend, but I'm not going to reveal her age, so I'm not going to include it here, okay? But she's there, she's the first person. All right, next one is GJ. He's an Indian male, 51. And final is AS, Indian male, 48. Now, when you look at your list, do you see a pattern? Do you see a pattern amongst your friends? Right? What do you think is the pattern? Can you put it in your chat? What do you think, Srinivas? Do you see a pattern? Okay.
Absolutely.
Similar age group.
Similar age group. Absolutely. Kumar Garu, that's right. So what I thought was, let me quantify it. We are all engineers here. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to quantify it, and I'm going to show you how to quantify it. The way to do it is, if your friend is the same ethnicity as you, give them 1 point. If they're the same gender as you, give them a point. If your friend is in the confidence interval of your age plus or minus 4. Okay, so I'm going to confess, I'm going to be 50 this March. Okay, so if my friends are between 46 and 54, 46 and 54, right? If they're in that interval, I'm going to give them a point. So SC gets 1, gender 1, age 1. And so my total score is 9. So 9 out of 9. For all my 3 friends included, my score is 9 out of 9. So my friends are exactly like me. So I want you to calculate your score, please.
If it is a female, we assign 1, 0. Okay.
Give them a 0. If they're not of the same gender as you, give them a 0.
Okay.
If they're different from you in terms of ethnicity, give them a 0.
Okay.
If they're same, give them 1.
So my score is 8, Professor Balkandi.
Yes. Okay. How many of you have 6 and above? Raise your hands, please.
Mine is also 8, 6 and above.
8. Okay.
8.
Right? So you're clearly seeing here that we are people who seek out others who are similar to us, right? And so 9 out of 9, and by the way, this was an exercise I developed based on a concept called homophily. And the idea here is you tend to like others who are similar to us. I've done it here in my institution. When I did it at Cornell, I did the same. I teach in Singapore, same pattern. I teach at ISV, same pattern comes into play. Everywhere I go, I find that people tend to seek out others who are similar to themselves. Now, maybe I thought, it's something about us engineers, something about us intellectuals. I thought, let's look at a celebrity, okay? And I thought, okay, let's look at this celebrity. This celebrity is a male, Caucasian. He's a little bit older now, maybe 55. He has 3 friends. First is BP, not me, okay? I wish, but Caucasian male 50, SAS Caucasian male 51, BO African American male 52. Anybody wants to guess who this celebrity is? Yeah. Anybody wants to take a shot? And this is not like MSET. You won't get penalized. No negative marking here.
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, pretty close, sir.
Oh.
You are in the ballpark. Pretty close. Any other takers?
BP is probably Brad Pitt.
Okay, absolutely. You got BP. Right.
Thank you.
This BP says that BP is correct. Yes.
George Clooney. How about George Clooney?
Yes, absolutely. It is George Clooney. And Dr. Shankaran, you're right. It is Brad Pitt. Now the question is, who are the other 2 people?
Will Smith?
Will Smith, no, they are not friends actually. Good try. So I'll tell you the 2 names, BO and SAS. And BO is African American.
Barack Obama?
Correct. It is Barack Obama. Then, only
Praveen got a answer sheet.
I think so.
Oh, the questions are leaked. Questions are leaked.
Papers are leaked, yes.
Oh my God.
I'll have to reset the new questions. Now, the third one is a tough one. Only if you're a Ocean's 11 series fan. When I've done this with thousands of kids, so far I've had only 4 people get who SAS is, because he never appears in front of the camera, but he appears behind it. Anybody wants to take a shot?
Ocean 11, huh?
All right, let me show you. It is a guy called Steven Soderbergh. He's the producer of the Ocean 11 series. And so these are the 3 friends that George Clooney actually is surrounding himself with. In fact, those of you who are aware, George Clooney is a Democrat, and there was a movement that he may actually stand up for governor in the state of Kentucky. But when you look at his friendship network, he has a homophily on a similarity score of 8 out of 9, right? So Dr. Hari, you and I, we are in the same league, sir, as George Clooney.
Thank you.
And you definitely have more hair like him than me. So, so my question to you here is this. When you look at a network structure, when we look at this principle of homophily, where we are surrounding ourselves with people who are similar to us, why do we do it, right? One possible explanation is this. So I was talking to Praveen last night, and I was telling him about all the snow we had in Buffalo in English, okay? 30 seconds in, we started talking about biryani in paradise in Hindi. 60 seconds in, we started talking about Bonalu in Nalakunta in Telugu, okay? 90 seconds in, we are back in English talking about this presentation, right? Now, you're seeing I'm talking about 3 different topics. I'm talking in 3 different languages. Tell me, is that possible to do with my American colleagues? In 90 seconds, I doubt it, right? So the principle of homophily basically says that it allows us easier communication and much faster communication. That is absolutely true. But it also creates what we call as echo chambers. And I'm going to give you an example that really had a profound insight for me about why these echo chambers undermine us, okay? This was actually a true incident. One of my co-authors from Penn State was invited for resolving a critical conflict in a blue-collar firm. So this was a plant somewhere in rural Pennsylvania. They were taking wood and making it into furniture, very rural, very blue-collar. The company was not doing well. So the top management team decided to change the compensation system. And that's what we management people do. We first see if we can give them and pay them in a different way, we'll turn out positive. So they moved from a wage-based system to a pay for performance. The better you perform, the more you'll earn, okay? They implemented their new compensation system, and they were shocked because the workers went on a strike. So based on what I just talked to you about, the principle of homophily, my co-author observed that this was the pattern of the demographic groups in that workplace, okay? So at the right, you have these old Caucasian males, white males, who are above the age of 45. You have the young Caucasian males below the age of 45, and you had a bunch of young Hispanics, okay? So you're seeing this demographic profile. Then he gave what we call as a network survey. We didn't have Facebook, we didn't have email at the time, so we literally give them a paper-based survey. And when they looked at the interaction pattern, here is what he saw. He saw that you had the old Caucasian group here. Can you folks see the slides? Okay. Then you had the young Caucasian group here, and then you had the Hispanic. Do you see how our friendship networking approach of homophily reflects in the organization? Our life outside the work gets mirrored to our lives inside. And there are severe ramifications of this. Now, there are 3 people, there are 3 relationships here that tell us how to succeed. One is this relationship between Carl and Ozzy. So Carl is a 25-year-old white male. Ozzy is a 55-year-old white male. And they're still communicating. Any reason why they would be communicating? What do you think their relationship is?
Yeah, the boss and subordinate, maybe? Old and young.
Good try, but no, that was not it. Good shot, though. Anybody else?
Maybe the relation father and son?
Yes, yes, Swami, that is the thing. So basically, Ozzy got his son into the same company, right? And we see that all the time. where family members recruit others. In fact, the Chinese have a term for this. It's called guanji. That is, you tend to recruit people from your same village. You can think about caste, you can think about region, the same concept sort of mirrors there. Okay, so that's one. Relationship, kinship drives network relationships. All right, next one, Bob and Norm. What do you think is the connection there? Anybody wants to take a shot? And it can't be kinship anymore. I've given you that example.
Is it friends? They know each other?
They could be classmates, college mates, colleagues.
Could be. All of these are colleagues.
Oh, okay.
They're all working in the same shop floor.
They live in the same town?
Yeah, you're thinking in the right term, okay?
They go to the same church, maybe?
Absolutely. That could be a valid point. And here is the funny thing. Those of you who smoke, I don't advise it. But at least here in the West, we find that smokers have more diverse networks. And the reason is this. I'll give you a simple example. It's 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's -5 degrees here in Buffalo, Celsius. You go to campus, you will see 2-3 Koreans, 1 or 2 Indians, 2-3 whites and blacks smoking outside. They will not even speak the same language, but they know how to get a lighter and how to exchange cigarettes, right? So the point here is that certain activities help foster these brokerage ties. So it turns out that Bob was recruited by Norm, okay? And so here again, I mean, and I'm sure Mr. Abraham and all the senior folks here would tell you that even things like interviewing, recruiting, provide ample opportunities to develop networks. The third one is Bob and Alejandro. What do you think is the connection there? And the clue is in their names. Bob and Alejandro, what could be the connection?
Spanish people.
Yes, okay. Both are, Alejandro is Spanish, that is correct. But what about Bob?
Do they play soccer together, maybe? I don't know.
Could be. Valid point, like smoking, soccer, yes. And again, not advisable. Soccer is advisable, yes, but not smoking. All right. It turns out that Bob is the one who knows a little bit of Spanish, and Alejandro is the one who knows a little bit of
English.
English?
What the implication of this, right? The implication of this is in organizations, marketing has its language, engineering has its language, R&D has its language. So if you're able to take ideas across silos, translate it, then you move into this position of brokerage. Okay? Now, so you've seen that network, the diagram here behind me. In fact, I'm going to move out a little bit. Now, the question I have for you is, who do you think were the union reps in this network? Who would be the union reps? The ones who are actually negotiating with the top management team.
Halls and Domingo.
You're thinking on the right angle. In the interest of time, I'm going to tell you that Sam and Wendell were the union reps. So the question for you is this: in this scenario, your company is losing money every minute because they are on strike, the workers on strike. How are you going to end this now that I've shown you the diagram? What will you do?
Maybe you need to speak with Bob and Norm.
That's it. Mahesh, you're a true leader because that's what they did. They brought in Bob and Norm, spoke to them. The strike ends in an hour.
Yep.
Okay? So my point to you here is this. Remember when I told you that exercise of homophily? That same thing creates these clusters. And when you have these clusters, that means there's going to be opportunity for brokerage. And you see it all around you, whether it's Uber, whether it's Swiggy, whatever food company or whatever gig company you can think of. They are basically the bobs and norms of this current economy. So in short, I just want to end by saying, some of the lessons I want you to take away is that there's a huge movement towards networking, but what I'm telling you is you get networking opportunity in every aspect of your job description. And if you are sensitive enough to manage and foster relationships, then that creates a resource for you. Not sure how it's going to benefit you, when it's going to benefit, but it's going to pay off. Second, learning a new language doesn't mean you have to learn Marathi or Spanish. All it means is understand the language of your colleagues who are in different departments, because that gives you the opportunity for arbitrage. And finally, if you are one of those lucky people, you can either be born in a group that already has a strong network, or you can marry in one like you're seeing in some of the examples here. So anyway, with that, I hope I've taken you from a journey of one to many. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Prasad. It is fantastic. I think you have now given a reinforcement of people joining with Jntuh as members and alumni, because our network is our net worth. So if you are not doing, because most of us are homophilies, because we are all coming from the same places, and Jntuh is the common phenomena which is holding this umbrella, and we have 1.8 million or close to 2 million. That means we can Telugulo antaru kada rajyalu elachu if all the people come together. So fantastic, and gave a very good information. Thank you, Prasad, and over to Praveen.
So I'd like to make one more comment with your permission, Praveen. So when I was looking at the profile of Professor Balkondi, I felt for this session, it's an appropriate combination of what Marriott has started and how Prasad has ended. So this gives us appropriateness for the new year to start. How do we network with our people? And that is the easiest thing Dr. Professor Balkondi has proven, because you have a language in common, you have a college in common, and most of us profession also in common. So we all get 9 points, Professor Balkondi, when we get connected. So our goal is to get maximum number of points. I think this theory that you all your life you are following, and you've done a lot of research. Thank you for sharing with us. And one more point I would like to bring here is people like Professor Balkondi can bring a lot of value for our mentor and good friend, Dr. Rector Govardhan, if still here. So we need to somehow collaborate with other like-minded universities, because now is the blended learning is the key. The distance has diminished. So we can offer a lot more collaborative courses if we could bring in University of SUNY at the University of at Buffalo. And then one more thing I would like to request my good friend Johnson Jaker, who is the Vice President in Hyderabad. Whenever Professor Balkondi visits Hyderabad, please make sure that you have an in-person lecture assembling the entire college. All the 8 constituent colleges, probably bring them into the big auditorium we have on campus and have him lecture and show that how important it is to network and how collaboratively we could achieve a lot more things. I think that would go a long way, Jaker. And I request the same thing with Dr. Govardhan also to facilitate such things whenever our people visit. Again, one more time, thank you, Professor Balkondi, and we will interact with you again offline and take this forward, your concept of networking, and we'll apply to bring all the 2 million JNTUians together. Thank you so much.
Hari,
Praveen,
can I ask
back
a
to you.
quick question to
Please,
Dr.
please go
Balkondi?
ahead. Yeah, that's
If
the
you don't
next
mind.
session anyway, please.
Yeah. Oh, that's the next session. Sorry. So, Professor Balkondi, I found your presentation very interesting, especially the social experiment that you just did. I think we all are very much into it. It drives us all home. I had a quick question for you. Have you done any correlation with 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? This seems to be in similar parlance.
Actually, this Stanley Milgram was the sociologist who came up with the 6 degrees of separation, from which Kevin Bacon came about. But as I mentioned, LinkedIn and Facebook are just the surface, but Stanley Milgram's work on 6 degrees of separation. Okay, so those of you who just to put everybody on the same page, the idea of the small world phenomenon, the 6 degrees of separation, basically say I am connected to everybody else around the world through 6 other people or 5 other people. In fact, in a globalized world, that is getting smaller and smaller. But the structure will mirror the same thing that I told you. It'll have clusters, and there'll be people who will be going across. So for example, once upon a time in LinkedIn, you could run an API on and visualize your LinkedIn network. And you can still do the same for Facebook. And it was really interesting because I had these different clusters. I had a cluster of JNTU, Exam, and Penn State. And there's only one person who went across those clusters. So absolutely, Dr. Shankaran, you hit the root, one of the foundational research papers on this.
Great, thank you.
And
Are there any other questions?
just not a question, but one comment I want to just make as everybody is here. As Dr. Prasad has given a great information about how to network, and as we all know, he's also a professor. So we are going to launch, there is an initiative we are working on with the collaboration of all the universities. So whoever is here, if you are a professor, you will be getting some message from Prasad, and also we have taken the initiative we are working on. So a lot of the information will be coming. So we want all the professors who are the JNT alumni to join wherever you are in the globe, so that we are coming up with a plan to interact more with the universities and bring back that knowledge to all of our students and faculty and alumni. So a lot of initiatives are going on, but I just want to make sure if you have anything, any suggestions, reach out to us or to Prasad. So we will be talking to all the interested team in a separate closed session. Just want to remind that point. Thanks, Praveen.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I've been for.
I have one question, Praveen, to Professor Balkundi.
Go ahead, Dr.
Now, the score is great having the similar people with similar backgrounds and all, but to increase our network and also diversify beyond our own people. So that's how do we score those things? Like now I have about over 5,000 people on LinkedIn, totally diversified. And we have to, if we have to score those relationships, but the score looks very small because there's nothing in common, the way, the 3 areas that you identified.
No, so LinkedIn is very different from this relationship that I did with you, because I'm talking about friendship.
Okay.
So this is what we call as a strong tie, because these are people you interact with, you trust, and you have, it's mutual. LinkedIn, there may be a lot of people, I mean, I actually have a social media policy. For example, with LinkedIn, I only add you if I've met you, right? But many of those relationships are what we call as weak ties. People I met twice and then I don't meet them. So that's why that is more difficult. But the point here is this, Dr. Hari, you hit an important issue. And that is, many times these weak ties are where you are able to get key information from. And because they typically are, as Dr. Shankaran pointed out, they are in a different, they are 2-3 degrees of separation away, meaning they are in a different social enclave, they're in a different social cluster. That means they have access to different information. So that's why LinkedIn becomes valuable, because it gives you those access. So, but I'm not sure whether the premium value of LinkedIn, that option gives you a score. But originally LinkedIn did allow us to run and download this, but I'm not sure they're allowing it now. In fact, LinkedIn Labs used to allow us to develop a score. But in Facebook, you still can download your data and you can run the heuristics. In fact, there are companies out there that will take a look at all your email data. They will look at all your Facebook data, LinkedIn, and then run an aggregating score. A company used to be called Clout, K-L-O-U-T. It's closed now. I don't know who took it on. But they actually use these social media networks to measure your influence pattern. So that's why they called it K-L-O-U-T, Clout.
Yeah, Abraham, if you could take a minute, can you just interject here, because you do a lot of networking? You are on mute, Abraham. Unmute, please.
The thing is, I do a lot of, as he rightly pointed out, I've got more than 15,000 connects, but I keep correspondence live. That is very much paramount. That is one thing I've found out from a lot of people. They just connect, but they don't continue the connections by corresponding and letting us know, by up and down communication. Communication is a key, as Marriott has pointed out, and that has really put me in a different league of activity. As I see communication as a big key here, especially in LinkedIn. Facebook also is there, but if you see, the Facebook is more of a socializing platform, whereas this is more of a professional platform. This is my reading of the whole thing.
Thank you. It's more of a personalizing the professional links. That's what it looks like. If we can combine what Professor Balkandi has mentioned versus what we have all the professional relationships. I think that's the key here, personalizing the relationship so that you can trust and do a lot more things together without having any conflicts and other distractions. I think a wonderful session again, Professor Balkandi. We really appreciate your time.
Can I interject and ask one more question, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Shankaran.
Yeah, one very quick one. So, Professor Balkandi, this is something which I'm really worried about with AI and ML coming up, and we hear a lot about deep fake and fake, talk. Even I've seen some videos of people like Barack Obama talking, but it's not really him. So this is something to ponder about. I work in AI, ML, and CPU chip designs. So I think even Elon Musk has alluded to it, that we might be creating a monster out there which could probably make people believe that it is real while it is not. So is there any work that is being done to differentiate between these deep fake versus the real videos or real talks?
I study human networks, Dr. Shankaran, more. Right now, what I'm studying on is what is the impact of people who dislike you.
Okay.
And what is the impact of you disliking others? Now, these are very personal, and many people, and this type of data may not even appear on social media. But I can tell you, there was a Facebook researcher who talked to us in a conference, and they said that they are actually able to predict, and I'm shocked, they were able to predict when a couple were going to get divorced 6 months before.
Wow.
Okay, so 6 months before, they knew if this couple was going to get separated.
Scary.
Yeah, and so the algorithms behind this are, they're even going beyond, I suspect, what we have done as academics. And I'll give you the clue. Anybody wants to take a guess how they're predicting?
Behavior.
Through Friends Network?
No.
Their Facebook conversations or
Facebook.
Social media.
Is expressing their feelings on the Facebook?
Yes. Because once I tell you, it will be very intuitive. So I want you to first struggle with it.
I hope Alexa is not snooping in and listening.
Sorry?
Maybe Alexa is snooping in and listening and sending it to the database.
Okay, could be.
So it's their behavior and how they are performing day-to-day life activities, how things are, the behavior patterns they are capturing.
The one behavior, Swami, that Facebook observed was the men started looking at other women's Facebook posts. And the women started looking at other men's Facebook posts. So they started getting attracted to the opposite gender, and they were sort of, and I can tell you, you'll observe this pattern. And I don't know to what extent it's there in India, but in the West, divorce is 30%. And I've seen personal things when I'm looking at the photographs, and then with my friend, and suddenly the woman disappears. And so within 2-3 months, they're gone, they're separated. So in short, Marriott talked about her move of going away from Facebook to LinkedIn. I must say she may not have seen it, but there's a lot of wisdom behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
With that, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good to know that. So I should stop looking at other people, women singing. So I don't want to listen to them then. I got to be careful.
Don't like their post, Kumar.
My God, no man.
Only audio, no
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think
so
this brings up a good point, what Dr. Shankar has asked and what Prasad has given. I just want to give a glimpse. This is what we are going to do in the next monthly session. I'm inviting one of the renowned mad scientists who we call Dr. John Kahn, and we also call him as a father of Watson. He is all about AI. Right now, he's doing a lot of research with MIT and IBM. So Shankar, please hold up your question and we can continue this discussion in the next month's session. So I think we are increasing the level of speakers and the knowledge and the interactions are increasing. So I'm very happy that we have started a good note on 2021. And thank you, Marriott, for pitching in the great idea of the entrepreneurship and taking this to next level, Dr. Prasad. So it is very good. So now in the interest of the time, we'll just move on. So Praveen, please proceed to the next phase of this program, please.
yeah, I've been waiting for the questions to subside. We are beyond our time box. I appreciate everybody's patience. And I had a good summary captured to thank, but a lot of you made those points. So in the interest of time, I'll keep it succinct. It's a matter of pride to actually invite Prasad. It's hard for me to call him Dr. Prasad, but you have earned the honor. So Dr. Prasad, it's a matter of pride to have you, who's been a really, really good friend of mine since 1989. We actually started the literary club together at JNTU when it did not exist. Jntuh Hyderabad and Kukatpalli. So moving on, what we have a quick summary at a high level is it's important to think beyond LinkedIn, Facebook. It's important to look at somebody as a human because that defines their strong personality. It also defines the network within the professional organizations as well, not just outside of the corporate structure. And I think what we have learned is that the personal connections within the organization and their personality actually defines their image and can potentially lead to better or worse performance. So it's an important thing to recognize that. And the other side of it is um, people generally tend to socialize with like-minded people who look like themselves, etc. We seek out people who are similar to ourselves. It gives a good comfort zone, but it also promotes echo chambers, groupthink, and that's the downside of it because it doesn't diversify our thoughts. The important aspect is to have a diverse networks. It's very important. I think, like Dr. Hari well summarized, it's important to personalize our professional networks as well so there is a stronger trust and interdependency, which can really improve our network and net worth effectively. So once again, Dr. Prasad, thank you so much for your time, energy, and your wonderful presentation. And I think what icing on the cake was it was interactive, kept the energy alive. We'll move on to the next segment.
So what I would suggest, Praveen, we would like to have Kumar thank the speakers, and then we open up the session that can continue, open-ended thing. That's why let's see if we could, Kumar, present a vote of thanks to the speakers first, and then open the session for interaction with the alumni.
Okay, most definitely. We can reverse the order. So
just a second, gentlemen. I do apologize to interrupt. I've got a meeting in an hour's time, and I do have to prepare for that. I really would like to thank again the opportunity and the time, and really enjoyed the presentation prior. And if you excuse me, I'm going to have to get on with some more preparation.
Sure, Marriott. Just to give us 2 minutes, and we will have a formal vote of thanks to you. Kumar, please take it over.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and good morning, good evening, and every location, and happy New Year to you all. It's my privilege to honor today and you offer, vote of thanks. And this has been very, very energetic and inspiring session today, and everybody had fun. Special thanks to our chief guest, Ms. Marriott Ram, for her participation and inspiring her knowledge and sharing our ideas of importance of entrepreneurial ecosystems, communication through social media, and interacting, how networking can be done, and paying our social responsibilities. And also she answered all the questions what we had. Thank you, ma'am, again for your participation today. Thanks to Professor Govardhan, Rector of Jntuh-U, you always encourage our Jntuh Alumni Association, and you also encourage all your students, current students, to participate in our sessions so that they can benefit out of this. We are already grown up, but the thing is that juniors and all we need. So we always need and look forward for your support, and thank you very much for that. Thank you for coming on today. And thanks to our today's keynote speaker, Dr. Prasad. He explained how we can leverage social media, today's social media, for all purposes: getting a job, formal networking, informal networking, and how do we attach each other? How do we cluster? What are the points? And he involved us and making us to think again, being like in a school, because we stopped thinking about all those points for long many years, and he made it very interesting, and really the common things, so how the threads work. Just for example, I can tell you myself, the network through my previous college's job, where I worked in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL. You can see Sami Reddy is one of my colleagues and friends there even before we came to US. So just I could tap all these my Jntuh-U colleagues and other classmates and bring them up, and he's one of them helping us too. So it's really a cluster. You think of it in a small way, really it's very important, and it helps us. So, and also we thank all the Jntuh-U Hyderabad Alumni Association members there. And really important is that thanks to Jntuh-U H Alumni USA team, Dr. Hari Epnapalli and his team, organizing today's wonderful webinar. And it's really good to see that we are all sticking on to like almost a couple of hours here and trying to see we are important here. And we'll be organizing these webinars regularly, as Swami mentioned. We will have every month, and every second Saturday of the month, we will have webinars. We encourage all of you to attend and listen to all the visionaries. We bring all the talented professionals, as Praveen mentioned, Prasad Swami mentioned. We are getting there. So we will please, we encourage and thank you once again, everybody, and please help each other.
Thank you, Kumar. Marriott, I think you can sign off now. Thank you so much for staying a few minutes extra. Appreciate it. Good luck with your next presentation, and any help we could provide, please feel free to let me know.
Thank you, Dr. Chairman. Thank you so much, and pleasure to meet gentlemen. Absolutely enjoyable, and I absolutely loved the interactive session on networking. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you. Professor Balkundi, we request you to stay back, because this is the real action, whatever theory you presented. We're going to exercise now. So we would like to, Praveen, with your permission, we'd like to recognize a few people who joined us. Our very senior, Sami Reddy from Hyderabad, who joined us today. And also our Vice President of Jntuh College of Engineering Alumni Association, Vice President Johnson Thigala is here, Jacob is here, and several other people, but we will open the floor to interact and see how do we network. And I would like to thank also Abraham. So you're welcome to stay back, but you can sign off if you like. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I definitely request everyone to turn your cameras on because this is the interaction time with the alumni. And to start off the proceedings, Mr. Nagesh, if you could get off mute. And Nagesh is an entrepreneur. He has his New York-based company, also has back office operations and a development center in Hyderabad. He has actually offered to hire 6 to 8 interns from Jntuh College of Engineering, Hyderabad. So it's a great honor that he is, as an alumni, he is looking for talent and supporting and encouraging our own talent from the alma mater. So, Nagesh, if you could quickly introduce yourself and your company first. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen, for giving me opportunity to speak. Uh, Good afternoon and good evening. And also, this is Nageshwar Aita, CEO of Aita Consulting Services. The company was formed in year 2006. So basically, it was evolved in last almost 15 years from conventional web, what I call mobility solutions, to more cloud-centric digital transformation, bundled with you can say artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning based solutions. So involving even robotic process automation, moving to modernization. So basically, we want to provide increased customer value. That's our goal in automating redundant tasks with the RPA and even combining with the AI technologies. So our technology partners include IBM, Red Hat, TIPCO, Automationware. We recently signed up with Snowflake. There's a lot of hype going on with Snowflake. So we still need to build practice around Snowflake. So our IT service offerings include like cloud. It could be cloud architecture, cloud migration, could be cloud native development support. Similarly, like data and analytics. So that includes artificial intelligence consulting, advanced analytics, data management. That includes like data engineering, data science, and so on. So we also provide DevOps, uh, like continuous integration, builds, stuff, and also digital business. We focus on the integration side, APIs and integrations, especially on the IBM side, MuleSoft, then what do you call TIPCO. We implemented software projects, including Salesforce integration projects. We focus on like key business areas, as I mentioned already, like cloud, digital business, data analytics.
I think you're doing a good job, but I think just in the interest of the time, if you can just focus on what
Yeah,
can you do
sure.
from
Basically, sorry. As we don't have much time. See, my interest is actually, we are based out of North Brunswick, New Jersey. We have a couple of delivery centers, offshore delivery centers in Hyderabad and Bangalore. Our offshore development center is located in Hyderabad. So our most of the offshore development center is like in Hyderabad only. So our focus is on the healthcare solutions, especially using AI solutions. So I'm interested in hiring people, especially from a Jntuh College of Engineering, as interns. So we'll start with a couple of people initially. So we want to expand it to at least 6 to 8 this year.
Excellent.
That's wonderful, Mr. Nagesh. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for offering that opportunity to our students, our bright students, and helping in their career growth. So we can move on to anybody who wants to introduce themselves first, unless Dr. Hari or Swami, you have a few people.
I
to
just
introduce.
want one couple of quick things. I think I want Samireddy Garu being very supportive, and he has few things to talk. So Samireddy Garu, please unmute and give your high-level introductions and what you have been contributing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning and good evening to all the friends. First of all, sorry, I joined a bit late. I was held up in the office and I just quickly came and I just joined the meeting. and I was just in between. I was listening, but yeah. So it is a very good to see all our friends from USA and India also, and our main aim is to do something for our college and young students as well as to the society. So just now we are in the budding stage of building our alumni association, and we will try to bring as many people as possible into the various forums, and we'll all together will try to do best. So maybe like this, the webinars for the encouragement and guest lectures to the students, and also knowledge transfer and bringing the collaborations between the industry and institute and some startups. So and also Hari Panapalli, and as well as our Dr. Vijay, they are trying to do many things. So to start with, we are also planning for a building, and let us see. I mean, try to come together and do something for our college and university. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Samaradi. I really appreciate it taking that ownership. And as we all know, there is a new building is coming up. So Samaradi is completely behind the scenes working. So if anyone else want to add in, I think our friend Jaikar, do you want to say anything? A couple of things. We can't hear you, Jaikar. In the meantime, while Jaikar is fixing his mic, anybody want to say anything?
So we have a few people, right? Let's see if Neelam or Sri Sudha, do you want to introduce yourselves? Syed Abdul, Ravindranath. I'm just looking at the participant list while Jaikar is trying to fix his mic.
Yeah, Mr. Vishwanath from our 79 batch EC is, I think he's in the line. Vishwanath, can you just introduce yourself and express yourself?
We have a mic issue. Looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah. So let's go with Dr. Faniraj Kumar from Texas, please. Again, feel free to inject. This is your forum now.
Yeah. Hi, all. Good morning and good evening. Today's session is first is very, very, very impressive, and starting, ending of both the speakers. Really, it is useful. And next, I think now Nagesh, I think, has given me very, very good things. I know that he's ready to take the interrupts. So that was the first win I can say after starting our alumni, this association. That our first win to do something for our students. So I'm really thankful to him. Yeah, in going forward, definitely we will have the more wins, and so a lot of participations of everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fani. So please, everybody, jump in and introduce yourself so that we can quickly wrap up in next 5 minutes. We don't want to take everybody's Saturdays, please. Anyone else? I think Praveen called out Sri Sudha, Syed, Ravindranath. Anybody? Please showcase your face and talk. And if Jayakar, if you are fixed your mic, you can speak.
Any JNTU current students also can speak.
If anyone is trying to speak, we can't hear you.
Yeah, Praveen, I think, and we have not. Oh, someone is joining. Hey, Syed, please go ahead.
Yeah. It was a great talk by our Professor Balkundi from Buffalo. No, and are you able to hear me?
Yeah, a little bit noisy. Can you reduce your volume, Haq?
It's a little distorted, I think.
Yeah, can you reduce? Just reduce your volume.
I think should be. No?
Your microphone level is a little too high. Maybe if you can reduce that.
It's echoing a little bit. Yeah.
Or speak just a little far from the mic.
Okay, how is it now?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. No worries. Please continue.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It was very good talk from Professor Balkundi, who had a very nice interactive session on networking. and also for Maritime. So she also gave a very good entrepreneurship, and we have been there in the few last of our meetings, which have been very fruitful in getting our alumni together. And the year chapter is really doing on the right path. So let us hope that we work more towards it and will be to getting more and more people together. And now, as Mr. Aita has offered a few positions for the Jntuh students as what do you call interns at his what do you call Hyderabad office. I appreciate that his offering of for the new Jntuh students for the new course. So in that way, we can come together and help each other. Also, the students of Jntuh Hyderabad and bring better prospects for them. So I really appreciate all of us who are coming together, spending their time on the weekend and making something progress towards the goal. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jacob, please go ahead. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we still can't hear you, Jacob, if you're trying to talk.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, now you are. Go ahead.
Season's greetings to you and Happy New Year to one and all. Excellent initiative by the USA chapter under the chairman and leadership of our global ambassador, Dr. Harikishan Eppanpalli, my good friend. And founder president, founder chapter, USA organizers, executive board members, and great initiative by you on the starting of this new year on the second Saturday. And it's a blessing that we have started on a good note, calling Madam Marriott Ram, who really inspired, and followed by our Srinivas Balkonda. Very, very nice, very good initiative by you, and hope this sets the ball rolling to a new decade altogether. This is a new decade, 2021, and it would be a blessing that Jntuh will have its flag fluttering along with the IITs and IIMs. So I look forward to greater association. I'm building new chapters across the globe, started with USA, and every quarter you come up with a roadmap, milestones, so that we can see global chapters coming up in various nations. As we see 2 million alumni, that's a great number. Close to 2 million is not a joke, as who our Swami Perumbadu said, देश को हिला सकते, दुनिया को भी हिला सकते. In other words, good. So I take it as a privilege and honor to speak and acknowledge our leaders, leaderships, and especially from India. Our greetings are there with you, and our prayers are there for you and all across the globe who really help people in COVID, as well as sustaining this pandemic, and praise and thank the good Lord for keeping us alive in the living list of life. And may God bless you all. And thank you once again, Swami, Harikishan, Praveen Nirmolu, and the team. Thank you very much, and good luck to you in our endeavors. And let us all join hands together to build up Jntuh, CEH, and its flag fly high. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacker. You are the pioneer for the Jntuh College of Engineering Alumni Association, and we will collaborate and we'll work together. And this is our common interest. And anything that we could assist you whenever you want to do some programs that we could recruit some eminent speakers, please let us know. Any mentors, any advisors, whatever we can assist you to make sure that Jntuh College of Engineering also shines on the global map. So now we have Srinivas Komadipalli, who also wanted to introduce his company and also offer some internship opportunities. Srinivas just joined us. Srini, take it forward, please.
Yeah, hi, hello Andy, na పేరు Srinivas Kamatipalli. Thank you, Ari garu, for giving this opportunity. Yeah, so basically, I'm based out New Jersey, and I'm running a company in India. It is called SRRIT Solutions, based out Karimnagar. And also, I mean, it's right now. It is base office is Karimnagar, and also we have a office in Hyderabad. But right now it's closed due to COVID and all. Pretty much everyone is working as a remote. So I'm planning to hire like at least 10 people, interns who just passed out. I mean, just graduated from their electronic and computers stream. So I have a lot of things we are working on, and we have like a lot of APIs, services, and some of the models which we already developed, and serving some of these clients. So what we want to do, we hire people and give it some training and give some real-time projects and get that executed with them, because we have tools and the technologies and frameworks which already built in and which can be customized, and so that way they will learn in real time what exactly the a project and what is a websites internally. It could be a AWS integrations and REST services, microservices, and all like a multiple tech stacks. So I just want to give that opportunity, and at the same time, like we will be also like we'll see like how they're progressing, and if there is any feedback and all, we'll give a constructive feedback to get their career growing. So yeah, and I also talked to Praveen garu before, so I explained to him. I also shared the flyer. So I would like to get know the people about our company, and I'm happy to have some kind of presentation too, so that people understand like what exactly we are doing and how it is helpful and all. So definitely I'm looking forward to work with everyone. So yeah, thanks Ari garu for giving this opportunity. So I'll if you need it, and I can set up a demo what I've done and what we are doing, and that way maybe it's helpful for people who are looking
Sure.
to.
Yeah, we will take offline, Srini, and provide your job spec. And same thing with Nagesh. If you can provide the job spec, Praveen and Swami will coordinate with the Hyderabad office and make sure that you get recruited, and whatever the formalities you need to fill, they will take care of it. So I have one question for Professor Balkundi. We are struggling. We are about 2 million people out there. We are struggling to connect. Is there anything that you could offer us as a best practice? How do we accelerate this networking and connecting people of our alumni to jntuh.org, so that we could do a lot more services and a lot more work to our students and faculty and other things? Really, we are struggling actually to reach out to our people. Everybody has a group of their own, but somehow we're missing something here. So anything that you could offer us, guide us, how do we accelerate this networking process?
I would suggest a multi-pronged approach. First, I think JNTU does send out. So I can tell you the three institutions that I've been involved with. The Alumni Center, which is an established part of the university. So for example, at ISB, they have a dedicated department for alumni. And their job really is to, from the stage of organizing interviews. So for example, what Srini asked right now, or Nageshwar said about these job postings and all that, the Alumni Center is the one that typically manages that in these institutions. And so you have what we call multiplex relationship. Not only are they alumni, but they're also potential employers. They're also speakers. So one aspect here is this, that if you want to think about this in the long term, and again, one doesn't have to go far. From Kukatpalli to Gachibowli is not far, right? But Gachibowli, where ISB is located, they have established centers. Now, again, one is a private institution, one is public, and that distance may be more than what I'm talking about. But the idea is you have a solid group which is professionally trained to follow this. One. Second, if on the website, JNTU website, if they have a link for Alumni Association membership, that would be an important one. Third is if you have conferences or meetings, official meetings here, for example, ISB has, before this entire thing, every year, ISB would have America chapters meet, where other new people, and it's formal. Yes, underlying it, there is a lot of friends coming along, but the point is you have to take a multi-pronged approach. But starting place, website, on the JNTU website. Second is if you can have the local chapters organized. And then third, if JNTU can send out emails from a JNTU list, from a JNTU email address, I think it'll make a huge difference. That's what I can think of at this moment.
Sorry, Dr. Prasad, I think the question Dr. Hari is asking was that is there any way that, because Alumni Association in JNTU or anywhere, there is no list maintained or anything regularly. So is there any other media like a Facebook or LinkedIn, or is there anything that somebody can develop to, we can go and ask, call them up and then try to get their interest in our, group. Is there something that somebody can get it?
Yeah,
Not like 1 or 2 or 100.
Prasad, before you jump in, let me quickly give an update. College of Engineering Hyderabad, they have an official alumni page where alumni can register and post. We have been sending those links out with limited participation so far, but we will need to accelerate that, right? And Prasad, if you can help in that direction, that's great. And second thing I do want to mention is the students are actively looking at these alumni pages that are officially maintained by JNTU-H. And I talked to Dr. Brahmada this week multiple times to get more details of that, because it needs to become common knowledge. And I think where Dr. Hari was trying to get your suggestions as well, Prasad, is how can we expand our footprint, right? One is the college. What can the college do? What they have associated now is when people graduate and leave, there's a no objection certificate from every single department, right? Registering an alumni association is a requirement now before they get their provisional certificate. So that because that's a requirement, every single alumni going forward will be registered. But we need to make an effort to collect the 2 million people that Dr. Hari keeps referring to into this network.
So there are 2-3 things here. You can think of a push approach or a pull approach. Okay, so what you're talking about, Praveen, is like, you're sending out all these notifications, you're insisting that they put up the alumni, they register alumni, which is actually a practice we have here in the US also, right? But I would also suggest if like this session that we have, or every year you have like a famous alumni member come and give a talk on campus. And I'll tell you, I attended 2 sessions at ISB where they have something called Solstice and something else, where they had alumni members who came in who had startups. They came and gave talks, but it was in the format of what they call a haiku. They were allowed only 7 slides. They came in, and of course, they were all curated slides because they had worked with the Alumni Center to develop those slides. They came in precise 5 minutes, 7 slides, done. They were able to push 5 such speakers in 35 minutes. So suddenly what's happening is people want to come there so you have to attract. It's not just what value add are you giving, right? And so, is it, Penn State does this. It will give you a discount in credit card and all that nonsense. I don't think that makes a difference. But I do think in all of us here at the positions we are in, we want to give back. The stage of life where we are in, we want the next generation to grow. So I think that's what you really have to tap into, right? For example, I've been talking to you guys about Kirti Melkote. Kirti Melkote started Aruba Networks.
Right.
I mean, if you are able to get him for even 5 minutes to speak, you may win, right? Or you can get. So the point here is if you can engage them, and I think you're on track. You're on track. But if you're able to do like an annual conference where speakers come in, and actually Praveen and Swami, one of the things we can do is I can see if I can talk to the alumni head at ISB.
Yeah.
And even if we take 3 or 4 points from their playbook, we have won.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. That will be a great interaction, Professor Balkundi. And Kumar and Praveen, please get an offline session with Professor Balkundi and get his ideas and how, as a membership chair, you can promote this aggressively to recruit. So,
Sure.
so thank you so much, Professor Balkundi. That was something bothering me. So I felt free to ask you because I was comfortable because of your expertise.
I think, Dr. Hari, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Other people have done it really well. We just look at the
exactly
a model after a success story and customized to our needs. That's what it is. We'll do that.
Perfect.
So Praveen, back to you if you can. Continue.
So Praveen, please go ahead and close it so that we'll again meet for next session on 13th. So Praveen, please.
Okay, so once again, Happy New Year to all of you. Great sessions today. A lot of wisdom we're taking away. Please come back next month. Don't forget, second Saturday of every month for this monthly dose of wisdom. Thank you, everyone.
A good thing is nobody will forget about